brain, you're in the nerds domain. Come on in, it's about to begin.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Nerds Domain podcast. This week it's just me, and I'm here with Shawn Smith of Indy PopCon. Say hi, Shawn.
Hey, how you doing?
And Shawn, you guys are gearing up right now for Indy PopCon, so let's talk about that a bit. But before we get deep into that, let's kind of talk about your background. How did you get involved with Indy PopCon? You know, how that all started? What's going on?
Well, I actually work for comicspriceguide.com, and they were a major sponsor and instrumental in helping get this organization together. But ultimately, we were all just kind of a group of friends that had wanted to do a convention before and wanted to do something a little different than what we'd seen. And, luck kind of had it that we had the connections and were able to put together, the investment to get it done.
All right. And this is the second year of Indy PopCon. Last year, do you know the official attendance numbers or somewhere around what those were?
Last year we were just shy of 10,000 over the entire weekend, and that's what we're looking at doing this year.
Excellent. So, Indy PopCon is just a little bit of everything pop culture and geeky, right? I mean, that's the plan for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what we're going for. Is some conventions you feel a little bit intimidated by, even because they're so hyper focused on either comic books or board gaming or whatever the case may be. Our goal is to really approach pop culture more from a broader point of view. We feel like everybody has a little bit of geek inside them, and we kind of want to celebrate that and celebrate all aspects of pop culture and nerd culture, whether it be gaming, comics, cosplay, internet culture, whatever the case may be. We welcome geeks of all sizes, shapes, and genres.
Right on. And your guests pretty much reflect that. So this year, we're getting, and I apologize, I'm not a huge YouTube fan. So it's Markiplier. Is that how you pronounce that?
Markiplier,
there you go. That would make even more sense. Who I'm told is a big YouTube celebrity, and a bunch of other YouTubers, podcasts. You guys do more than just the big name celebrities. You do smaller names, but that people that still others want to see out at a convention.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, really what we're doing is we're just embracing this kind of next generation of pop culture because, you say smaller names, and I know you don't mean that in a derogatory fashion.
No, absolutely not.
But Markiplier has 8 million subscribers. 8 million people subscribe to him and watch his videos on a daily basis. I mean, he makes a video just talking about his day, and 2 million people will tune in for that video. YouTube, Twitch TV, this whole esports gaming sort of movement, because we've got the Halo Championship Series. It's actually just the next generation of pop culture. So if you think back to, the early 1900s, there were people that were calling for comic books to be banned because they were evil and people not understanding that. And now it's an extremely lucrative and popular industry. And YouTube and Twitch TV, really, you're just seeing kind of the beginning of that. Within a couple years, we're going to stop referring to these guys as YouTube celebrities, and they're just going to be celebrities.
Absolutely. And yeah, you're absolutely right. I didn't mean it in some sort of derogatory way, but when you look at Markiplier, and then he's the number one top guest that you have next to Edward James Olmos, which are two very different release ways. I mean, Edward James Olmos has been on TV and movies, and Markiplier is kind of doing his own thing through YouTube and Twitch. And like you said, 2 million viewers tune in just to hear about his day. That's some power. That's a great deal of power. And you guys have kind of embraced that. So you don't just have, the big movie and TV stars. You have big YouTube stars, and then you host a bunch of podcasts as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we see podcasters in the same light. We really do feel like that's a growing cultural medium. And, all you guys are waiting for as podcasters is the day that every single car has Wi-Fi, and
Absolutely.
suddenly, your marketplace opens up and radio becomes, that dinosaur, while you guys are able to record whenever you want and not be stuck to rigid schedules. And, we're looking forward, and, pop culture is ever evolving and ever changing, and it's our goal to be on the forefront of that. Sometimes you go to shows and all you see is people from the past. They have these great past roles that are iconic, and that's wonderful. We love those shows too. But with PopCon, we're actually putting an eye towards the future.
Well, yeah, and you still, you definitely are looking towards the future. You're still looking at the past as well. You've got Edward James Olmos, who he's on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but a lot of the reason people love him is in the past. John Delancey, again, he was on My Little Pony recently, but Star Trek and SG-1, those are big roles for him. So you're still pulling a lot of the same things that other shows are going to pull, but then this new crowd of artists, YouTubers, podcasters, a little bit of everything. You guys even go out of your way to make cosplayers give them a place to do what they need to, and make them celebrities in their own right as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that comes down to you've seen it. The people that don't necessarily understand cosplay, though, I don't think that they fully grasp how much artistry and hard work and sweat and labor. Whenever somebody has a full suit of armor and they're dressed up as a knight, it's likely that they actually did the metalworking and metalsmithing to bang those plates out and create this, photorealistic or, just complete replica of their favorite icons. And there's real skill sets there. So we invite those cosplayers out and we talk about them, and, especially for parents whose kids love cosplaying, we want to talk to the parents and say, embrace this geekiness. Here are the careers that can come out of it. They can get into set design, costume design. A lot of cosplayers actually are successful set design and prop makers. So there's great things that come out of being a geeky nerd who loves cons, and we hope that we can help people kind of find a pathway so that they stay a professional geek for their entire life.
Absolutely. So that kind of overviews the guests that you guys have. But let's talk a little more about the events. So you mentioned the Halo tournament. So this is going to be a pretty big deal. It's a pretty large tournament, right? I mean, I don't remember. Was this the Midwest, or is this a national championship?
It is a national, and it's a $50,000 cash tournament.
Right on. And so that's a big draw for a lot of people. And it looks like there's, this is being handled out kind of in tandem. It's going to happen at PopCon, but it's being handled by a group that runs these sorts of things a lot. So that'll be a big draw. And then what other kind of events? You've got panels. What else can we expect to see?
Yeah, panels and workshops. As I said, we're definitely going to have the traditional panels where you're going to be able to speak with celebrities and ask them some of your favorite questions. But we also have a lot of workshops where we want them to get on stage and talk about how they broke into the industry. We actually have the producers and the team behind The Asylum, who are best known as the creators of Sharknado, the movie that broke the internet, and them in combination with Troma. They're great independent film studios, and we want them to interact with fans and talk about how to get into the industry, because it does represent a good opportunity to be able to kind of get your acting chops and get started with a company like Asylum or Troma or somebody that supports the independent arts. So we want to embrace as much of that as possible, as much education and learning in with the fun.
Excellent. Looks like you're going to have the Artemis spaceship bridge simulator there, as well as eBash, which is a local gaming, kind of what used to be considered an internet cafe along those lines, but they're both going to be there, so lots of video game stuff to do. Tell me about the Museum of Geek History.
Well, the museum's actually was from last year. So this year we don't have quite a museum, but we actually have exhibits from internet culture. So that'll kind of be replacing the museum, where this time we're going to pay homage to some internet relics that actually became viral. I won't spoil too many, but one of them, for example, if you remember several weeks ago, the internet was on fire because of the dress, which people couldn't decide was black and gold or blue and black or whatever. I think it was gold and white or blue and black. Well, we're bringing it to the show so you can actually see it. And you'll see what the real dress is.
Excellent. And you guys are doing a bunch of film screening, everything from Flash Gordon to Sharknado, Toxic Avenger, and Starship Troopers with Casper Van Dien in attendance. So anything there that you want to specifically point out that you're excited about?
Well, I'm actually really excited about some of the independent fan films that we're going to be featuring as well. Mixed in there, we've definitely got some independent fan films that were created by fans, which sometimes can be the best films out there. I mean, speaking of, things going viral, several weeks ago, the Power/Rangers fan film came out, which was the re-envisioning and kind of the gritty version of Power Rangers. So we're going to be showing that at the show and several others. If you're a film of fans and screenings in general, there's going to be a ton for you at PopCon.
Yeah, and you guys have, 24 or so fan films that you're going to be showing over the weekend? I think that.
Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but it's a lot. So that could, 24 could be right.
And I've seen a couple of these, and honestly, they're fan films, but they're really well done. I've been very, very impressed by what I've seen so far. So I'm looking forward to seeing those on a bigger screen too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you guys have some hours events. Tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of after hours events. We've actually got one before the PopCon even kicks off. We've got a Flash Gordon screening with Sam Jones, and that's going to be at the Historic Art Craft Theater on Thursday night before the convention. So that's going to be really cool. The Art Craft Theater is an old theater that was built in I think it was the 20s. So it's going to be really awesome to show a classic film in this kind of classic old movie theater setting.
Yeah, and it's a gorgeous theater. We went down and saw Lawrence of Arabia there, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so cool. And, we couldn't be more excited to partner up with them. But then we've got, on Saturday night, we're going to be featuring a couple of after parties. Downtown, we've got a comedy club that we're going to be doing something in that we're going to be announcing here shortly. And then Sky Bar Lounge and Taps and Dolls have agreed to accommodate us and give us sort of a private space to hang out for all the attendees at PopCon. So we've got kind of a safe home base, so to speak, for the late night shenanigans.
Excellent. So you guys have all kinds of events. This starts Friday, June 26th, and goes through Sunday, June 28th. Convention hall is open multiple hours the whole weekend, right? We're looking, I want to say 6 or 8 hours each day. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's about right.
And so beforehand, afterhand, you guys are going to have a gaming hall as well. I know that there's going to be an arcade to benefit Riley Kids here in town through Extra Life. And then tell me about the Endless Dungeon. I talked to the guys from Crit Confirm when they did that at Indiana Comic Con. You guys are going to be doing that again here, but it's not just one day, is it?
Correct. They're going to be set up for all weekend, and they're going to be literally running almost endlessly. They're going to have to take a couple breaks here and there, but from open to close, you'll be able to go in and participate in a grand adventure.
Right on. And that money also goes to Riley Kids as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if you aren't sure what it is, it's a Pathfinder game where the adventurers are actually sort of playing against the audience, because the audience can donate money and contribute items to either help or hurt the adventurers. So it's a cool, really unique way to actually add some interaction to a game of Pathfinder, which normally is not a spectator sport.
No, it isn't. I heard that from Indiana Comic Con. It went really well. Everybody had a blast, and their only downside was they didn't have enough time, and now that's changing, and you guys have given them lots of space and lots of time. So that's exciting.
Yeah, we're going to try to make it even more interactive too. I won't spoil it, but I can say that there are going to be props that are involved this time around.
Excellent. You guys are going to do a bunch of live recordings for podcasts as well. I know the Nerds Domain has one, and then just about every other podcast that'll be there should be up on the stage at some point, doing interviews and recording episodes. Any names you want to point out there that are super important or notable?
Well, the podcast stage is really more about, podcasters that are trying to get a break out there and get some more of an audience. And so we're not necessarily trying to fill the podcast stage with, A-listers. Like we actually want that to be for more of the independent guys. Okay. You've got a great podcast and you should have a way to get more fans and followers. So what's a good way to do that? Well, put you on stage and let people hear you when, without having to worry about necessarily downloading the episode.
Excellent.
So we've actually got you guys out in the food court, so we hope that you've got a nice captive audience for the entire weekend whenever you do your recording.
Excellent. And it looks like you're also going to have a couple other events that should be pretty important this weekend, that weekend. The League of Legends Championship is going to be going on, as well as a Creature Creator Workshop.
Yep, you got it. Those are two very different things.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The League of Legends tournament is going to be a $10,000 tournament. Kind of complements our Halo Championship Series tournament. Just kind of shows that we're getting into the esports realm a little bit. And then the Creature Creator Workshop, for fans of the sci-fi show Face Off, we happen to score a couple of the artists, including the season 7 champion Rashad Santiago. And they're actually going to transform some volunteers right in front of the audience, and they're going to give some makeup tips and some creature creation tips. So again, it goes back to this concept of, how do I take this geeky thing that I'm into and turn it into a career?
Excellent. So the weekend kicks off at 1 p.m. on Friday the 26th. Well, I guess it technically kicks off the night before if you want to go see Flash Gordon, which I highly suggest. The theater's gorgeous, and Flash Gordon's a fun time no matter what. And then you're going to have, Sam Jones in the audience as well. So, kicking off Friday at 1 and running most of the weekend. You guys don't slow down. Even at night, there's going to be people doing stuff, and even after the exhibit hall closes, people are still going to be up and around and doing things that everybody can get involved in. That runs till Sunday at 5 p.m. That's when everything officially shuts down. Lots of panels, lots of workshops and exhibits and things to buy. We haven't even touched on the things to buy, but there's going to be a lot of great vendors that people will be able to check out. Anything else you want to point out or kind of point people towards?
Well, yeah, I like your point about the, things to buy, because that is something that, if you're a first-time con goer, you may not realize that that's actually, one of the kind of cornerstones of how these conventions work, is we actually invite out independent artists and vendors to bring their wares and show off some of their goods. And you can find some of the most unique collectibles and some of the best artwork for it almost feels like pennies on the dollar as far as, the value of just quality artwork you get for the cost. So, whenever you come out to the show, keep an open mind and be prepared to spend some money on something cool at the show, because every time I go to a show, I tell myself, hey, I'm not going to get anything this time, and every time I find something that's just so incredibly unique that I can't help myself. And ultimately, you're supporting an independent business, so it feels better to purchase stuff from cool shows and cons like this than to get it at a Walmart or something.
Yeah, and in a lot of those cases, you get to talk to the creators, the people that did the work on it, and get to tell them how awesome their items are, which is a unique experience by itself.
And you can often get them signed right there, so you know.
Yeah, definitely.
seen opportunities to purchase I think last year, people were purchasing the Hodor Funko Pops, and they went right over to Christian Nairn and got them signed, which is a completely rare and unique collectible then, which is awesome for anybody that collects that sort of stuff.
Right on. Yeah, there's last year was our first convention ever and Indy PopCon was great to be at for that. We had a great time out there. I highly suggest it. It's the convention that I tell everybody they should go to. It's completely inclusive of everything, and I think you guys have worked really hard to make it that way. You want something for everybody to enjoy.
You got it. We don't want anybody to feel like they're left out, and we want to make sure that the people that are definitely the hardcore geeks, gamers, comic book nerds, they're going to have a ton of fun. But for us, it's also about finding those people that are kind of on the fringes, because especially for you as a podcaster, you've got to branch out and find those audiences, and we have to create more people interested in podcasting, so all the podcasters can succeed together.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of the concept that we're going here. Is we want to take people who are just a little bit geeky and just make them a little bit geekier.
Excellent. Yeah. So everything for everybody, and you guys do it pretty well. Nobody really gets left out. Last year, we got to see a bunch of unique things. I got to play a terribly fun and hard to control game called Octodad, and that was interesting. And you guys had a pretty good Minecraft world set up for Indy PopCon last year as well. So there's been a little bit of everything on the gaming end. Lots of podcasters. You have some good comic book artists. One of the guys from the Adventure Time, and then Walking Dead will have an artist there as well. And just a little bit of a smattering of everything for comic books. TV and movies. You've definitely got some good names. I'm looking forward to just about everybody. Normally when I look at a convention, a comic convention or otherwise, I'm like, oh, well, that's nice. They got that person. I really don't have a lot of interest in talking to them. But all of the TV and movie celebrities you got this time, all of them are right up my alley. So I'm very excited about that. And you guys have done really great with getting a little bit of everything. So it's not just your regular stars. It's also a lot of voiceover actors and people like that. So I highly suggest Indy PopCon. I think that if you're a geek at all, or if you feel like you might be a geek, this is a place to really embrace that and enjoy yourself.
Absolutely.
All right. Anything else, Shawn? Anything else you want to touch on before we go?
Just make sure that you get your tickets in advance, because we do have a sellout number, and I think it's going to be pretty close. I do think we'll probably still have tickets at the door, but it costs more to get them at the door anyways. We have no ticket fees for processing online, so if you want to come, just go ahead and head to indypopcon.com and get those in advance.
And that's you can do that over at indypopcon.com, and then 3-day tickets are $45, and then each day is a little different price-wise, but you can definitely do that. And there are a couple of VIPs that are still available that are worth checking out. That definitely you should check out.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much, Shawn, and everybody. You get a chance to go over and check it out, you should. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter. Look for Nerds Domain there. You can email us over at nerdsdomain@gmail.com. You can head over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. You can head over to patreon.com/nerdsdomain and support us there, and you can find our shirts over at /loot, and we will talk to you guys real soon.